thinking something that probably didn't mean what you think it did. You replay the conversation, the pause, the tone, the short reply that suddenly feels different the longer you think about it. And now your brain is trying to figure out what they really meant. But here's the problem. The moment your brain decides what something means, it starts looking for proof everywhere. And that's when overthinking stops feeling like a thought and starts feeling real. So let's break down the 3 things that happen right before you get stuck in the loop. I'll give you 5 quick tips to separate what happened from what your mind added, so one awkward moment does not turn into hours of replay. But what if the problem is not that you are reading people too deeply? What if the problem is that you are reading the wrong thing? Here is the surprising part. Most overthinkers are not completely making things up. They often did notice something. The mistake is not noticing the signal. The mistake is trusting the first, meaning the mind attaches to that signal. That is where the loop starts. Not with the short reply, not with the quiet mood, not with the delayed response. The loop begins when your mind turns a small signal into a final conclusion. So before you ask, why can't I stop thinking about this? Ask a better question. What signal am I using to build this story? In a moment, I'll show you the one distinction that can interrupt the loop before it turns into hours of replay. Tip 1. Separate the signal from the story. The signal is what actually happened. They replied with one word. They looked distracted. They did not respond right away. Their tone sounded different. They seemed less warm than usual. The story is what your mind builds on top of that signal. They are mad. They are disappointed. They are avoiding me. I ruined something. This relationship is changing. Those 2 things can feel identical in a moment, but they're not the same. A short reply is a signal. They're upset with me is a story. A delayed response is a signal. They do not care anymore is a story. A quiet mood is a signal. I must have done something wrong is a story. This does not mean the story is always false. Sometimes your read may be pointing towards something real. But the danger is treating the story as proven before you have enough evidence. That is what keeps the replay alive. Because now you're not responding to what happened. You're responding to what your fear says it means. Tip 2. Look for the missing evidence. This is where overthinking becomes persuasive. The mind does not only replay what happened. It fills in what was never said. They did not say they were upset. But your mind says they probably are. They did not say you did anything wrong. But your mind says, why else would they act like that? They did not say the relationship changed. But your mind says something is different now. That is why the loop can feel so believable. It is built from a real moment, but held together by assumptions. And assumptions can feel like evidence when you are anxious. So ask 3 questions. What do I actually know? What am I assuming? What did my mind add? That 3rd question matters most, because the replay usually does not come from the moment itself. It comes from the meaning your mind attached to the moment. Tip 3. Delay the verdict. When your mind feels uncertain, it wants a conclusion fast. They're annoyed. It's awkward now. I messed up. I should fix this. I need to explain myself. But the first interpretation is not always the final truth. Sometimes someone is tired. Sometimes they are distracted. Sometimes they are dealing with something that has nothing to do with you. Sometimes they are not pulling away. They are simply not giving the exact signal your nervous system wanted in that moment. This does not mean you ignore real signs. It does not mean you talk yourself out of intuition. It means you stop turning the first emotional read into a final conclusion. Try this phrase. I noticed something, but I do not have enough information to decide what it means yet. That phrase gives your mind a place to stand without forcing a fake answer. It lets you notice the signal without obeying the spiral. Tip 4. Ask whether you're reading them or reading your fear. This is one of the most important shifts. Sometimes you're not responding to the other person. You are responding to the fear their behavior activated in you. A short reply may activate the fear of being disliked. A delayed response may activate the fear of being forgotten. A different tone may activate the fear of being rejected. A quiet moment may activate the fear that you are too much, not enough, or somehow in trouble. When that happens, your mind starts looking outward for proof of an inward alarm. It scans their face. It studies their words. It replays the conversation. It searches for the moment everything changed. But the better question may not be, what do they think of me? The better question may be, what fear did this activate in me? That question brings your power back. Because now you're not trying to solve another person's inner world from the outside. You are noticing your own inner alarm. And an alarm inside you is not always evidence about them. Tip 5. Choose the next right action, not the perfect interpretation. This is where overthinkers often get stuck. They believe they need to know exactly what the other person meant before they can decide what to do. But most of the time, you do not need perfect interpretation. You need a grounded next step. If there is no clear evidence of harm, the next right action may be to let the moment breathe. If the relationship is safe and the issue matters, the next right action may be to ask a simple, direct question. If you genuinely said something hurtful, the next right action may be to repair without over-explaining. If you're only trying to escape discomfort, the next right action may be to wait before reaching for reassurance. This is the difference between clarity and compulsion. Clarity says, there is something here worth addressing. Compulsion says, I need them to make this feeling go away right now. That distinction matters. Because if the goal is only relief, you may send the extra text, explain too much, apologize when you did not do anything wrong, or chase reassurance that only helped for a few minutes. But if the goal is clarity, you can slow down enough to choose. Ask yourself, is there something real to repair? Is there something clear to clarify? Or is this a feeling I need to let settle before I act? That is how you interrupt the replay without shutting your sensitivity off. And if you want a simple way to interrupt this kind of replay before it turns into hours of overthinking, I created a free tool called the 5-minute mental replay interrupt. It helps you separate what actually happened from what your mind added, so you can stop chasing certainty and come back to one clear next step. The link is in the description. It takes about 30 seconds to grab it, and it is completely free. So the next time you replay what someone said, how they looked, how quickly they replied, or what their tone might have meant, pause before you turn the signal into a story. Ask yourself, what actually happened? What did my mind add? What fear might this have activated? What is the next right action? The goal is not to become cold. It is not to stop caring. It is not to pretend people's behavior never matters. The goal is to read the moment with more accuracy. Sometimes your sensitivity gives you useful information, but sometimes fear uses your sensitivity to build a case against you. That is where the loop begins. One short reply becomes proof. One quiet moment becomes rejection. One uncertain interaction becomes an emotional trial. But you do not have to keep putting yourself on trial every time someone's behavior is unclear. You can notice the signal. You can question the story. You can delay the verdict. You can choose the next right action. That is how you stop overthinking people without becoming detached. You become more grounded. You become more accurate. You become less controlled by the first story your mind creates. And when your mind tries to turn one small signal into a full emotional verdict, pause long enough to ask, do I know this, or did my mind add this? Then let the decision stand.